today are two men who are leading the charge for a new Veterans Memorial in Dartmouth. Town Veterans Agent Roy Oliveira and Veterans Advisory Board member Norm Gunderson are putting the finishing touches on the Dartmouth Veterans Memorial Grove, and that's to be located by the gazebo near the Dartmouth Senior Center at 628 Dartmouth Street. They're here today to give us an update on the project, so gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us.
Roy, let's start with you. Where did the idea come to create this Veterans Memorial Grove? How did that all come together?
Well, actually, it was Norm's great idea because throughout the community we have other monuments, but we noticed that there wasn't a monument specifically dedicated to the Korean War veterans. So Norm came up with an idea to have a central location where we could incorporate the Korean War veteran and all these other memorials throughout the community in one central location.
Norman, describe the monument, if you will, the grove, I guess. Maybe Roy might do that, or Norm. Either one of you really jump in and describe what we're going to see there.
Well, it all started with the Council on Aging giving us a piece of land that had a existing gazebo. So using the gazebo as the centerpiece, we've already put in a POW bench, which was one of the first things that we did, along with the bronze plaque dedicating the memorial to the veterans. Mm-hmm. Now we're working on the walkway. There's going to be a walkway all around the gazebo, which will have the bricks that people are buying to honor the veterans and their family.
And so this project is financed through the sale of the bricks, is that correct?
Well, we've had several fundraisers throughout this whole project. For 3 years in a row, we did a car show there at the Council on Aging. That was very successful, a lot of hard work, and that was put together again by Norm because he has a couple of antiques of his own and knows a lot of folks in there. So we've done some of that. We've done some other fundraising, and of course the bricks now is the primary source of fundraiser because it's twofold really. It's part of the fundraiser, but it's also where a family member can honor a veteran in their family by buying one of these bricks. Another key fundraiser that we have, and in fact it should be going out, is we have an insert with the excise tax when they go out to the local community in Dartmouth, and in there'll be an insert, for donations, requesting donations, and Dartmouth residents have been most generous throughout the past 3 or 4 years, and we're asking for their continued support to this monument.
How many bricks have been sold?
Oh, I think we are probably about 180 now at this time.
$50 a piece?
$50 a piece. When we first started, just to get it rolling, we started out at 40, and then we raised it as part of the program on Veterans Day, raised it to $50. But it's still a great buy for veterans. Yeah.
Norm, you came up with these ideas for the most part. You're the guy that kind of put the wood in the stove on this thing and started.
Here's how it really came about. When I first got onto the board, we were doing a memorial for the last Dartmouth resident that lost their life in Vietnam. And I happened to notice that throughout the town, with all the different memorials we had, I didn't see any that specifically was for the Korean War. Well, come to find out, Dartmouth was fortunate that we didn't lose any soldiers in the Korean War. So my thought was we should really have something to honor the service that was done by Dartmouth residents in the Korean War. That evolved into this all-inclusive memorial. So along the walkway, besides the bricks, now there are 5 benches for each conflict. And each bench has the names of the soldiers who lost their lives in that particular conflict. The Korean War bench has no names on it, but still it's there to honor soldiers that did serve. So we have all of those benches plus the POW bench. Once everything is tied in together, everyone that served and lost their life in town, their names will all be together in one local spot, not spread out everywhere.
So have bricks already been laid, or are you planning to do that in the spring, or what's the status of that?
Well, because we got delayed a little bit. Our goal was to have this project completed by Veterans Day of this past year, but we got delayed a little bit because we've also relied on a lot of volunteer work, and some of the folks throughout the community have stepped up, to help us with that. So because of that delay, we've now extended it to hopefully getting it completed by Memorial Day this year. So with that being said, we've extended the sale of the bricks through probably at the very latest mid-February, so that we'll have enough time to order these additional bricks. We've already got 140 in storage that we've received, and as Norm mentioned, we've got about another 38 that we've already sold. So we're hoping to get to the 200 mark. And people still have, 2 or 3 weeks left to order theirs.
Are there any restrictions about who can buy bricks? Does the veteran whose name on the brick have to be deceased, or do they have to be Dartmouth residents? Norm?
No, there are no restrictions. It can be someone that's on active duty right now. It doesn't have to be a Dartmouth resident. The only restrictions that we have is that it's nothing other than for veterans. We're not soliciting advertising. It's just strictly, veteran related.
You're listening to Townsquare Sunday on 1420 WBSM. My guests are Dartmouth Veterans Agent Roy Oliveira and Veterans Advisory Board Member Norm Gunderson. And they're talking about the Dartmouth Veterans Memorial Grove, which will be dedicated, hopefully, on Memorial Day 2018 later this year. As you mentioned, Norm, you have various memorials around town to honor veterans, and this one is meant to be like, I hate to use a commercial term, but a one-stop place to honor veterans in Dartmouth.
Well, we have 34 names that we read every year at the end of the Memorial Day Parade, and those 34 names are on different plaques, different memorials throughout the town. Well, now all of the 34 will be in one place. Everybody will be able to see the names of their loved ones or their family members that were lost all together.
What's been the reaction from around town about this idea, Roy? You must have solicited some feedback.
Yeah, the reaction has been very positive. But in many cases, we've talked. In fact, we talked about this last night, Norm and I. There are still folks that don't know that we're doing this project. I do a once a month talk at the Council on Aging, and that's a question that I ask most of the time. Do you know about the Veterans Memorial Grove just across the way here? And most of them say no, they don't. But the overall reaction to the project itself from the community and from townsfolk has been very positive.
I don't get around as much as I used to. I'm not working full time anymore, but I read about this project in the Dartmouth Week. Is that one of your weekly papers over there, Dartmouth Week?
Right.
Dartmouth Weekly.
Yeah, and I thought it was a pretty good idea, and that you guys have been working on this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
how long, Norm?
Let me think. I'm going to say probably 5 years. 5 years at least.
Right. Yeah.
And there's been, Roy and I are here, talking with you, but there's been an awful lot of other people that have been involved. Past board members, current board members. It's been an effort by an awful lot of people. And if it wasn't for the town of Dartmouth and their residents, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We've been able to do this without any funding other than donations. So,
and that's a great thing.
It is.
It is a great thing.
I haven't gone and asked the town meeting for funding or anything like that. It has strictly been donations. and you had a gazebo there. Did that need a little touching up, Roy?
Well, it will, and in fact, it's funny you mentioned that because I talked to Maria Connor, who I'm sure a lot of folks in the Dartmouth area know. She's very involved with the Friends of the Elderly in Dartmouth. It's a great fundraiser. They're doing several projects on their own. But I mentioned to her that I would like to reach out to the vocational school to see if maybe it could be part of their project with, the folks there, the kids there, not necessarily, maybe not this year, but the years down the road, to remodel and refurbish that gazebo. And she thought it would be a great idea to do that, and she'd help us, reach out to those folks.
Great. And when will the memorial be dedicated? I think we mentioned here a couple of times, Memorial Day 2018, hopefully. After the parade, will it happen?
That is logistics that we'll just have to work out. But I don't think it would be that very same day, but it would be close to
weekend.
Memorial Day. Yeah.
Okay. And you've still got a few bricks to sell here now.
Yeah, we do.
People who want to purchase a brick, how should they go about it? How should they do that?
Okay, so there are several ways that they can do that. Certainly, they can call me at my office at 508-910-1818, and I will be glad to mail out an application for them. There are applications at the town clerk, at the town hall, as well as in my office. They can go on the town's website as well, and for those that can't navigate it, you go to the news and notices, and then you click on View All, and then you scroll down to the commemorative bricks, and the application form is there, and you can fill it out that way.
All right, so we got a few more bricks to go. Did you ever expect to have the kind of response you've gotten? $50 is not a lot of money, but for some people it may be. And you've sold quite a few bricks here.
We have, and I think that once people really got to know what the program is all about, most were very responsive to it, and I'm really glad of the turnout. 200 bricks was always the goal that I had in the back of my mind, and we're almost there. But if we end up selling 225 after your help and we air this, that would be great too. So we've got plenty of room for additional bricks.
Very good. Now the other fundraiser you had, you mentioned the car shows, which I guess you passed the hat around at that time, and these elastic, not elastic, but they're rubber.
The silicone wristband.
Yeah, silicone wristbands. Okay, fine. That's the official name. I always wondered what the official name was. But clearly, one is a green one here that says, I support Dartmouth veterans. Others in the red, white, and blue colors that say, I support Dartmouth veterans. And these have been sold. And where have you sold them? Where have they? Are they part of a?
We've had different little fundraisers out in front of Stop and Shop, Big Value Outlet, and some of the the members of the board will take a handful. We'll just sell them here and there, but it's $1. It's not like we're trying to get rich on it. But
I don't know.
It's more just to show the support of the veterans.
And they've and you're on the 1 yard line here with this project. It's
very, very close.
Very, very close. And so we hope it will all come together. Okay, one more time. If I want to buy a brick, how do I do it?
Okay, the easiest and fastest way is to call my office, 508-910-1818, and I'll be glad to mail it out to you. Or swing by the town hall at the town clerk's office, or my office as well, on the 3rd floor, room 316.
All right. There you go, gentlemen. My thanks to Roy Oliveira, the Veterans Agent in Dartmouth, and Norman Gunderson of the Dartmouth Veterans Advisory Board for coming in and discussing the Veterans Memorial Grove to be dedicated on or about Memorial Day 2018. That is right near the Senior Center in Dartmouth. You're familiar with that, Dartmouth Street. There's a gazebo there, and the Grove will be right there. It's probably an ideal setting, I would say, with a lot of trees there.
Well, every year the annual Veterans Breakfast is held at the center, and most of the veterans in town, as they get older, end up shooting pool and playing cards at the senior center, so it's a perfect spot.
Very good. Gentlemen, thanks for coming in, and good luck with this event.
Thank you,
Jim. I
us.
appreciate it.